What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to the first stream. This is Brandon.
Hi, I'm Jade.
How's guys? I'm Real.
Good day, this is Kyle, and let's get saucy.
Cool. So for today's topic, we're going to discuss the promoted teams that have come into the Premier League from the Championship and their key players and who to focus in getting on your...
And their saucy drip.
Yeah, their saucy players to get in your FPL teams this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go through the three teams, which is obviously Norwich, Watford, and Brentford. And I'm going to go through their signings and their key players and their penalty takers. That's just basically what I've done for this video. Okay, so cool. To get started, the season totals for last year in the Championship, we can see Norwich has 75 goals scored and 36 conceded. So they are basically in the middle of attack and defense. And Watford has 63 goals scored, but 30 goals conceded. So they're quite defensive. They're not very attacking. On the other hand, we have Brentford, who has 79 goals scored and 42 conceded. So they're very attacking, but they also let in quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be too misled by that Watford stat. I mean, the Premier League is a whole different ball game compared to the Championship. So maybe go for more goal scorers in the opinion of FPL anyway.
True. But I do think if there's any team you want to target their defense specifically, I don't think Brentford is the correct one. And we've saw last season that Norwich is also terrible defensively. So yeah, I think something to keep your eye on. Okay, so the signings that they have completed so far, it's obviously still quite a while until the season starts. So there's not many signings to speak of. But Norwich has signed Rashika, a left wing. Billy Gilmore from Chelsea, we know him.
On loan?
Yeah, on loan. Well, I think he was actually on loan to Chelsea, and now they have got him back from loan.
The way around. Okay.
Yeah. And Gibson, the centre back from Burnley, I think, Ben Gibson. Angus Gunn from Southampton. So he's a 4.0 keeper right now in FPL. So he's one to keep an eye on if he does end up becoming their first choice. And then a left back, Giannoulis, who also was on loan, and they've now got him back to their team. So those are Norwich's 5 signings so far. Watford have not signed anybody yet. And then Brentford have signed Dennis, a forward. They've signed Danny Rose. I don't know if you guys know that.
Which Tottenham Spurs.
Yeah. And Lauser, a centre mid, and Fletcher, another forward.
Okay. Who's Norwich's current keeper right now?
The keeper is Tim Krul, I think.
Tim Krul. They're probably going to start.
Tim Krul.
Yeah,
so,
they've also kept the same coach since 2 seasons ago.
Daniel Farker.
Daniel Farker.
Love that guy.
And he's quite good, yeah. He's got a really nice man management style.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Okay, so we're going to go crack into it, straight into Norwich and
good guy, Farker.
Break them down.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so
the South.
Obviously we all know Pookie, who is the man of the Pookie party from last year in the beginning of the season, or 2 seasons ago. He comes in at 6 mil.
With some heat.
Comes in at 6 mil, which I think is the same as what he came in the previous time he was in the Premier League. He might have been 6.5. I don't know if you guys remember.
I can't remember correctly.
Okay, so Pookie has played 41 out of the 46 games. He's scored 26 goals and he's assisted 4 times. So those are good numbers. Although it was in the Championship, he's keeping up his numbers. Then we know I'll talk about the penalties in a few. But basically only 5 of those were pens, so still a lot of goals. Then we all know Mr. Todd Cantwell. He's 5.5 this year instead of 4.5. So something to think about there.
But he went up to 5.5 in the season he played.
True. He played...
now.
Yeah, he played only 33 of the 46 games. So he's still getting rotated. So it's still a bit iffy, him and his luscious locks.
Only comes in like Billy Gilmore. You never know if they might be fighting for the same position now.
Yeah, true. He did score 6 goals and 6 assists in those 33 appearances though. So he is on it when he's playing. Then another good guy to keep an eye on is, I think it's their captain, Aarons. He's a defender and he played basically every single game of last season and he scored twice and assisted twice. So if you want someone that's locked on for the defense and still gets up there for the corners, he's one to keep an eye on.
I always rated Aaron's. When I saw him play 2 seasons ago, he was really good.
Aaron.
Aaron, for sure. Is it a like,
Aaron.
young-looking colored guy? Eh?
That's a good
With black
question.
hair? I think it is.
Great question.
He definitely played for Norwich. If it's
No,
unless
he
there's
did. He
another
did. He
AA,
did. No, he's
yeah.
been playing.
I always rated him.
It
I
should be
watched him.
mentioned that Buendia, who is obviously left now, had 15
Big
goals
star.
and 15 assists. So that's a big chunk of the attacking threat that they've lost. So
Yeah.
they might sign some more people before the season starts, but I don't know where they're going to get those goals and assists that he provided from now.
And if you look at their first 3 starting fixtures, they're absolutely terrible. So
Really?
they're going to find themselves at the bottom of the log, for the next 6 or 7 fixtures.
Interesting.
Just donkey town.
Okay, and then as mentioned earlier, the penalties, when Pookie is on the pitch, he takes them. He has taken 7 in the previous season and he missed 2 and scored 5. So it's not too bad, but it's not super saucy.
Yeah.
He's
more
not
like
Lord
11
Sauce
below.
status yet.
Nah, not yet.
Then when he is off the pitch, the second penalty taker is Hugel. So he's taken 1 and he scored it. So just something to keep an eye on.
What's Hugo Lamid?
Yeah, pretty sure. Okay, so anything you guys want to chat about Norwich before we move on to Watford?
I mean, obviously your standouts
Avoid.
here then would most probably be Pookie and maybe Billy Gilmore, depending. Cantwell is obviously a punt, but I mean, those stats, 6 goals, 6 assists isn't really what you're looking for.
And he's a bit too expensive to be that bench fodder now.
Well, exactly. I mean, for 5.5, I'm sure you'll find someone better than in Southampton even or something like that.
Yeah,
Brighton,
no, I'm
maybe.
pretty sure. I mean, for
Even
0.5
Gilmore could
million
be the
more.
bench fodder.
Yeah. For 0.5 million more, so for 6 mil, you could get Saar. So that's like.
Yeah, see, and well, we're going to get there now, obviously. He's the next one, Watford.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
So
I would avoid any Norwich players like the plague for now.
Yeah,
I think keep an eye on
fixtures aren't
Pookie.
that great. Yeah, good point.
Keep an eye on Pookie, on the keeper, and on new signings. That's what I think.
You
Okay,
also
then-
never know in the Prem, dude. Everything's unpredictable. They could just come up
Exactly.
and just win the first 3 games.
Scores a hat trick
also
in his
true.
second game, and then everyone joins the Pookie party again. Alrighty, so moving on to Watford. There's some interesting players in Watford. We do know Ismaila Sarr, who I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
comes in at
He
6
also
mil.
played.
He's basically the talisman for Watford. He played 39 out of 46 games. He scored 13 goals and 4 assists. So he's like their main attacking output.
And
Especially
he's midfield for that,
yeah.
so he's not a forward. So
Yeah,
his
he's like a
stats are pretty
winger.
good for a midfielder. Yeah, but classified as a midfielder in FPL.
True. So yeah, very cheap, I think, is one to keep an eye on if you're looking for a budget midfielder. I think a lot of the play and the attacking threat comes through him. So yeah. Then we know Mr. Troy Deeney, who's getting older. He only played 19 of the 46 games last season. So I don't know if that was due to injuries or just because he's like going towards the end of his career.
Likely to an extent. Yeah, I think he's more going to be of an impact player now. I don't think he's going to get full 90 minutes in most games, even any games maybe. I think he might come on as a superstar sub or just start well and be taken off. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't invest too much unless his form is up there.
Okay.
Yeah, unless we're sure he's going to start. He in those 19 appearances, he scored 7 goals and 3 assists, of which 6 of them were penalties. So
yeah, if it wasn't for penalties, kind of doing a Bruno there, you know, although
Yeah.
Bruno was quite a lot higher, but not so south.
So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to get him into my team anytime soon until he like proves to us that he's getting like consistent starts and consistent goals.
And yeah,
Then we have another midfielder, Sema, who I do not know, but he comes in at 5.5. He played 41 out of the 46 games. He scored 4 goals and 5 assists. So a bit less attacking than Saar, but he's obviously up there when it comes to the like attacking threat.
yeah. And 5.5 is not too bad either. It's worth the punt, worth looking out for.
Yeah. Then we have the final attacker that I'm going to go through is João Pedro. He comes in at 5.5 as well. I think he's a forward in FPL, if I'm not mistaken. and he had 38 out of 46 appearances, but only 31 starts. So 31 starts out of 46 obviously is quite a bit of rotation. In saying that, he scored 9 goals and got 2 assists in those 31 starts. So not bad, especially for 5.5.
He's one to look out for. I think I'm gonna keep a close eye on his stats throughout the season.
Okay, cool. Then the final Watford player I want to mention is Kiko Firmino. He's a defender, and he's played 37 out of 46 games. He comes in at 4.5 in FPL, and he's got 4 assists. So he's quite attacking. Yeah, I remember
him. He was there 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I've seen him score some clangers from out the box, like in the past 2 seasons. So,
and out of these 3 teams, you want to be looking at the Watford defense.
Exactly. So I think Kiko Firmino is actually not a bad option.
And Danny Rose is in Watford, and we've known he started for Spurs. He's played for Spurs before, so we know he's got pace. He's only at 4.5. So as a wing back, I think that's definitely something to get into. And if you've seen the Watford fixtures, they've only got 2 teams that are rated at 4 for the first 10 games. So also quite interesting. A lot of them are 2s and there's a couple 3s, but yeah, they probably have the best fixtures out of all the newly promoted teams. So
I think, keep an eye on the pre-match. The preseason games. Keep an eye on the preseason games. If he's starting on that left wing back, I think it's very good.
How he wouldn't. I mean, made it into Spurs. I think he's most likely going to be their starter too.
Oh, no doubt. But when does preseason start, eh?
I don't know when the fixture starts. I think every team plays a few friendlies and whatnot, like at different stages.
It should be now in July because the season starts officially on the 13th of August.
Yeah, it's going to be after the Euros though.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Final thing to say on Watford is their penalty takers. As I mentioned, it's obviously Deeney. When he's on the pitch, he's taken 6, scored 6. So he's Lord Sauce, but he's just hardly there to actually take them.
He was just lucky to be there.
Yeah, when he's not on the pitch, then João Pedro is the penalty taker, interestingly enough. So he scored 2 and he's taken 2. So
it's most likely he's
cool
the starter.
that he's listed as a midfielder.
Oh, is he a midfielder, hey? Did you guys check that?
Okay, that's actually kind of interesting then if he's in midfield. But also I see Saw also took some pens, and he's definitely worth 6 more. I mean, he's got absolute wonderful talent right there.
So that's what I was going to say. Saw only takes the penalties when Deeney and Pedro are not on the field. So you kind of want either Saw to be playing and Pedro to not be playing, or if Pedro is playing, I think he might be a cheeky little punt worth it ahead of Saw because he's cheaper and he takes pens. Up to you guys, something to think about.
I don't know. Saw's form at the end of 2 seasons ago is just unbelievable.
Yeah, you would know as a Liverpool fan, eh?
That was very, very. That was another time in my life. It was like trauma back here. You just reminded me.
Well, did you check that?
I'm on my way checking right now.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think out of Watford's team, I think Rose and Saw would be the ones I'd be aiming for, just closer than a lot more. I mean, obviously Pedro's interesting, but I think Saw has a lot more influence on the field in terms of open play goals.
So Pedro is listed as a 4.5.
Okay, yeah, he's listed as a forward. That's what I thought. And then Jade, he'll just he caught you on your lies that you've been saying.
Rose is in Brentford.
Rose is in Brentford, as I mentioned.
No way.
Coordination there, brother.
Look at the color coordination. But sorry about that then. Rose.
Can't see. Danny Rose, Watford. I see it.
Maybe it hasn't updated on my phone. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe I'm cracked then.
What?
Very interesting.
Factually incorrect information.
Danny Rose is definitely in the Watford.
Somebody lying.
That is what we bring to you on FPL Source.
What's up here?
Factually incorrect information.
Danny Rose is definitely on the Watford lineup.
You were right. There we go. Danny Rose is definitely on the Watford lineup.
That's good then. Everything we said stays true. Good stuff.
I'm going with what Brandon's a lie.
Yeah, no, I lied in the beginning. Sorry, when I said that there was new signings, I said Rose got signed for Brentford. That is definitely my mistake. He's a Watford left back. Don't listen to
That's
me.
even better.
Yeah,
That's even better.
that's
It
great.
is even
That's
better.
great.
With their fixtures, it's a lot better
Yeah.
because Brentford have horrible fixtures. I don't know it quite off my head, but I did see that it was red.
Yeah, all three of them have horrible fixtures. All three teams.
No. Watford, go check theirs. It's not bad, bro. There's a lot of
You
green.
sure?
A lot of green.
The Man United.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think my template team right now is quite sauce. To be honest.
I'm not
Do you
gonna lie,
guys
my
know
template team is
Delafeo went?
Celsius. Huh?
No.
Where did Delafeo go?
Oh, he left when they got relegated. I think I'm not gonna lie if I tell you where he went, but he's definitely overseas. I don't think he's in England anymore.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just to reiterate, the 4 players that I said were signed for Brentford were all 4 signed for Watford. So I got those 2 teams mixed up there. Just sorry about that. So Brentford-
Used the wrong highlighter on the paper.
I used the wrong highlighter. That's true. Okay, so yeah, take it back. Brentford has not signed anybody. Watford is signing all the sauce.
Okay.
Cool. As long as we got that sorted. Okay, so are we going to move on to Watford? I mean Brentford.
Well,
Brentford.
wait.
The
wait a
new
second.
Watford Brentford.
The new Watford.
Watford
The
has
fucking
Spurs
forwards,
and
bro.
Aston Villa in the first 3 weeks. They play Brighton in the second week. They're gonna get smashed.
You can't,
You
but the
saying
thing is,
they
they're
have
not
good
playing
defense?
Liverpool, Tottenham. If you look at who Brentford and all of them are
No,
playing,
there's a lot
like,
of green. Yeah.
if they're going to perform, they're going to perform against Brighton. They're going to perform against Aston Villa. I mean, Aston Villa is strong, but you know they're a lot better than playing City or Liverpool in your first fixtures. Watford have great
Right.
fixtures. For
You're right.
what they're going to get. I mean, the Premier League is tough regardless of who the hell you play.
So if you're gonna
I
go
mean-
for anyone in these 3 teams, it's Watford.
Yeah, most likely, especially for the opening weeks. I mean, it's always
Seven
I signed
games.
Tony. I have Tony
7
in my
games.
team, in my draft team.
Well, have you seen who they're playing?
Yeah, but I've still got him.
Okay,
Because
who
if
they
anyone's gonna
play?
score, it's Tony.
Let's just see who they play.
Yeah, we are going to do a video on like the best fixtures and analysis on all the people's
They play
True, I
Arsenal,
mean,
fixture
there is more
difficulties
videos
and
to
stuff.
come.
So
Brighton.
I'm just giving some of the bands. My opinion is
Okay, but
what it is.
they play Crystal Palace and Arsenal, dude. They play Crystal Palace
Arsenal.
and Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Oh, Arsenal's
I
not even a
mean-
red fixture. That's hilarious. I was wondering. what
Yeah,
that was.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I see. The
Although
disrespect.
Arsenal
The
seems to be making
disrespect.
some moves for
Put some
Locatelli. I don't know if
respect on the
anyone's been
name.
seeing that. I know
Yeah, I
this is
saw
off topic
that.
now. They're making moves for Locatelli from Italy.
Interesting.
I will
It'll
believe
fit
it
into
when
Mikel
I see
Arteta's,
it
play style.
completed. Okay, so the next forward. Are you guys ready?
Renties.
Yeah, Brentford.
Brentford. Okay, so their number 1 player is Ivan Toney. He's like their talisman. He's 6.5 striker in Brentford. He played 45 out of the 46 games last season. He scored a whopping 31 goals and 10 assists. So pretty good, pretty damn good.
Very good.
It will,
good.
yeah,
He definitely outperformed Pookie on in terms of that though.
true.
So I mean, he's definitely your one to look for in terms of goals and newly promoted. I just don't trust the fixtures.
Yeah,
Also don't
he's
know
basically
enough about
the
him.
Bamford and the Pookie of
Yeah.
previous years with the hype.
And Bamford and Pookie both banged when they started, but
Oh yeah.
we'll see.
Oh yeah.
So it should be said that Toney did take 9 penalties and scored 9 penalties. So he is the penalty taker, and yeah, he doesn't miss. And if you take that into consideration, he scored 22 goals from open play then. So still a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
If you actually see, then Pookie also scored 21 goals from open play. If you look at how many pens he actually scored, so it's quite similar actually.
yeah,
But Tony's definitely the better punt.
but for 0.5 mil more as well, it's going to be a close battle. I think the percentage
Fixtures are
of
gonna come
the
into play.
team selected by is going to be very similar between Pookie and Toney. Although Toney,
It'll
I
come
think, is
yeah,
going
down
to
to
edge it.
the first few fixtures, I think.
Yeah, I haven't looked at
Really
the
gonna pick
fixtures to be
between
honest.
Tony.
I have
I've
not
had a
looked.
look and I
Norwich
stayed
are going
away
to get
from
smashed.
Brentford and I stayed away from
Yeah,
Norwich. I
Norwich have a
definitely looked at
horrible
Watford a
first
bit
game.
more.
They're going to get smashed. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Liverpool,
Can't
City,
even look at
Leicester,
it.
Arsenal.
Yo,
That's
Yeah.
oof,
that's tough. Dude.
oof, that is tough.
Yeah.
Although
But you never know.
Arsenal, they're going to be different this year. I know they were quite cuck last year. They also got Madison on their way. Forget that as well.
For real?
I think so.
Yeah.
Why would he
Are you
leave
sure about
Leicester?
He's not
Not in
a
our game
starter
plan.
at Leicester anymore.
Barnes is taking his place.
I think him and Brendan Rodgers had a disagreement. Wasn't it
Okay, I
I think
remember
so.
just
that.
came back from that knee injury.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
was injured, so that's the only reason he wasn't
Yeah.
playing.
but no, I don't think he's in favor anymore. I think he's definitely looking for a move out of Leicester.
Okay, interesting. One to
But
keep
him
an
and
eye on.
Barnes link up so well together. When they play, they're a top 4 squad.
Yeah, when
True.
the first team was playing, the full team, when there weren't injuries and that, they were definitely going to be top 4. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Okay, but let's revert back to
Revert back.
Brentford here. The next player I'm going to go through is Mbowembo. So another
Mbeumo.
Mbolo
Mbeumo.
Mbappe
That's super
impersonator.
fun to say.
Mbowembo.
Is that how you spell his name? Like the way you've written it there?
What's
Yeah.
the Lion King theme song again?
Mumbawe, Mumbawe.
Okay, but yeah, just check for me. Is he a midfielder or a forward on FPL?
I'll check for you right now.
But yeah, Mbowembo, he played 44 out of the 46 games. So good, solid starter, assured starter. He scored 8 goals and got 10 assists. And he comes in at 5.5. So yeah, he's like a winger as well. So I'm not sure if he's rated as a striker or a midfielder on FPL. Can you just check that for me quick?
It's not Mbowembo, it's Mbowemo.
Mbowemo.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
way
he's a
less fun.
midfielder. Yeah, it's way less fun. You're right.
Okay, so he's a midfielder. That's not bad then for a 5.5 midfielder, 8 goals, 10
5.5.
assists.
But it's also, I would rather go for a 4.5 if I'm going to have bench fodder. I don't want that
True.
extra 1 mil title. on my
True,
bench.
true. But you might go for a 4.5 and then a 5.5 player like that plays every week. So keep it in mind. And then check for Caños. Is he also a midfielder?
Checking. Caños is a midfielder as well, also at 5.5.
Okay. So Caños played every single game in the championship last year. He appeared in every single game, although he only started 30 out of the 46 games. So he's like,
subs on.
yeah, very rotated, but he always comes on, literally. And he scored 9 goals, got 8 assists. So also not bad, not bad. He's a Spanish midfielder, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Okay.
Then the final player that I have for Brentford is Jensen. I think we've been seeing some of him play in the Euros, if I'm not mistaken, for Denmark. The other Danish midfielder left, Dalsgaard, so he took a big chunk of their attacking threat as well. But Jensen, he's quite deep midfielder. He played 45 out of 46, and he scored 2 goals and got 7 assists. So he's quite creative. He's just a bit deeper. And he comes in at 5, so not bad.
That isn't
Oh,
bad
that's
at all.
quite reasonable compared to a lot of starts.
Cool. So what are your guys' thoughts on each of the teams? Who are your key players? Who are you avoiding? Who are you definitely taking?
To be honest, I know a lot of you are eyeing out Tony there, but I'm staying so far away from Norwich and Brentford for the opening fixtures. I'm definitely, if I'm going to pick anyone, it's going to come out of Watford, and most likely Saw, and most definitely Rose. For 4.5, it's probably the cheapest wing back you're going to find if he's going to be starting.
Interesting.
And you, Carl?
Okay.
I have signed Tony provisionally in my FPL team. I think I'm going to keep him there because he's going to be the Pookie or the Bamford of this season. Until the defenders of the other teams figure out his pattern and his routine, he's going to start scoring goals from the get-go. That's what
True. I mean, other teams don't actually know how he runs yet, and that's
I mean,
that's how it.
I want to say 2/3 through Pookie's first season, he got figured out, and then his goals just
exactly. It's
follow.
definitely a pattern, especially in Bamford as well. I mean,
Yeah.
all these strikers have a pattern that isn't so clearly visible to all the other teams and coaches yet until say 10
So
games.
you
in.
changed my mind about Danny Rose. I'm thinking of actually putting Danny Rose in my team because I had Tariq Lamptey. I think I'm gonna.
I don't know how I feel about being so honest about my opinions now, because I feel like my team source is going to be sourced out of my team.
No, I'm still going to disagree with you about 95% of everything.
Cool.
So most of everyone who watches this as well, so don't worry.
The fuck these guys talking about? They don't know shit, man.
Literally
Liverpool.
get all the signings for Brentford wrong.
These fucking Australians.
Trolling.
I know this isn't in team
How's
or
it,
the
mate?
talk discussion. I know this isn't in the talk discussion, but what do you guys think about Alexander-Arnold or Robertson? Which one?
Robertson
Robertson's
always.
7 this year, and
Robertson.
Arnold is 7.5.
It's the same as last year. It's the same as last year. They started the same
Ah,
7.57.
okay.
Yeah. And I think Alex is the way to go.
Yeah, I
think
think
so
you got to
too.
pick one. Compared, yeah, that's the free kicks, it's the corners, he's got.
Let's hear from the resident Liverpoolian.
Yeah,
Look at
hey,
that.
Liverpoolian.
You disagree.
You saw that differential throughout the season there from Robertson.
That's true.
Like
You
Arnold
did your
was
good.
very inconsistent.
But the
He
thing
was
is,
very-
Arnold had a terrible season last season compared to what he
He
did
did.
the previous
Also
season.
true.
Like his
I think he's
output
definitely-
for what he
he's
was
got a
actually
reason to come
doing.
back.
Yeah.
Also true.
Plus, he had way
But,
more defensive responsibility on his shoulders because Virgil van Dijk wasn't there.
True.
Yeah, that's
Is he
true.
going to even make it back
He
for
has
the
way
beginning of
more-
the season?
Say again?
Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk will. I think that's why he pulled out of Euros.
He doesn't have that Dorito, that red Dorito of death.
And
Around his
Trent,
name.
is Trent okay for the beginning of the season? Because I
Yeah,
know he
he
pulled
is.
out
You
of
know,
the
I don't
Euros.
think there's
as
a
well.
lot of information
going
out
to
yet,
be.
but I'm sure he would be. It was a hamstring. It's about 6 weeks for a hamstring, so I'm sure he'll be back for the warm-ups even.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Raheel, what is your thoughts on the 3 promoted teams and your key players and your avoidances?
Well, Brentford's, or is it Brentford or Norwich? Norwich's fixtures are just ass. But Pookie has the potential Pookie for 6, but expensive for someone who's going to sit on the bench for the first couple
4
of
games.
weeks, basically. Yeah. But
Scored
yeah,
against Liverpool in the
Pookie-
opening match of his previous season that he was in the Premier League.
Also
So
true.
keep it in mind.
That's true. I mean, you can't
And
deny.
they
I
beat
mean,
Man
you,
City.
And they beat Man City.
yeah, you can't deny that. There are going to be some upsets at the beginning of the season. You know, coaches and everything's got to find their structures. So for sure, there's some punts to be taken. It just, are you going to take the right one?
Sure. It's the gamble of FPL at the beginning of the season. Like me captaining Mane last season and then Salah scores a hat-trick. It was a great time for life. You know? Actually,
Or by
no
one of our
example.
friends who's not on the stream, Mr. Byron, and he's
Why is
Origi for the first
Yeah.
game of the season.
Don't
Who
ask
the
me about that.
hell plays Origi? But hey, he did.
I mean, he came.
But you see, Raheel, you can't captain the wrong one if you don't own any of them, like I did. Terrible start to the
But yeah,
season.
no, Watford probably only saws what he's already in my team because of the way he performed 2 seasons ago, and he
Yeah.
had a pretty decent season in the Championship. And then I was avoiding Rose because I thought he was from Brentford because I was running off your stat sheet. But if he is in Watford with their good fixtures, he's obviously he's a steal.
Yeah, if
He's
he
like-
plays in preseason, I think he's
Like-
going to be in a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And no one's really been speaking about him recently. So
Yeah.
hopefully he goes
So
under the
he's-
radar
Keep him
for
a
a
dark
little while.
horse. Let's
Yeah,
keep him this
hopefully.
dark horse. You know, let's just save it for our viewership here.
Yeah.
can't
But
spell
yeah,
horse
I feel
without
like
Rose.
True. I feel like there's already 3 too many people that know about my dark horse. Yeah.
Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, no. Tony from Brentford, obvious. That's it. Those are the only people that call my eye. So I think
Okay.
there's any hidden gems that we didn't catch, but we never know. You never know.
Nah.
I mean,
Until
Dallas.
new signings and new loan players come through, I think this is what
True.
we have for now.
Very
Yeah,
true.
we're gonna
It's
reevaluate after the first 4 to 5 fixtures in the season, and then we'll see.
I
who's-
think by
who's
the
jumping
time
up form.
exactly. Well, that's true to see form, but I think like a week before, 2 weeks before the season starts, we should know who their loan players, who all the newly promoted have actually signed to make
Yeah.
their team stronger because they get a huge
And who's gonna start.
budget increase. Yeah, they get a huge budget increase. So Brentford haven't made any yet, so there's clearly players to come from their side too.
true. Or they just got Tony and they don't need anyone else. Maybe they're so
That's a
confident.
risk. Unless they just keen
Well,
on going back to
Their
the bottom.
objective should be to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
to
they
not get
missed
relegated.
out. They were supposed to be in the Premier League last season. They missed out in like this horrible method to come get promoted in the knockout tournament of the playoffs or whatever. They were like they finished 3rd and they didn't qualify. So they've been keen to get into the Premier League for like a couple of years now, and I think they're
They're
gonna
going to come with
bang.
momentum.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, so that is it for today's episode, guys. Thanks for watching. And yeah, once again, I'm Brandon.
I'm Jade.
And Ra.
Cheers, guys. This is Kyle. We're out.
Check you next time. Keep saucy.